The Galactic Council chambers had not seen such tension in 3 centuries. Ambassador Kale stood before the assembled representatives of 47 species, his weathered face betraying none of the fury that burned beneath the surface. The human delegation was small, only 12 individuals, yet their presence seemed to fill the vast amphitheater with an electric charge that made even the most ancient council members shift uncomfortably in their seats. "The debt is acknowledged," Kale said, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustic design. "The Terran Federation recognizes the assistance provided during the plague years. We have not forgotten." Councillor Vrex of the Hegemony leaned forward, his crystalline form catching the chamber's ambient light. "Then you understand why we call upon this debt now. The Scourge fleet approaches the outer rim. Your military might could turn the tide. The Scourge." Even speaking the name seemed to darken the chamber. They were an ancient evil, a machine intelligence that consumed entire star systems, leaving nothing but void in their wake. For 200 years they had slumbered beyond the galactic edge. Now they had awakened, and their hunger was insatiable. "We remember the plague that nearly ended our species," Kale continued. "When the bioweapons swept through our colonies, when our population dropped from 12 billion to 3 million in the span of a decade, you came. The Coalition provided medical aid, food supplies, and genetic treatments that saved us from extinction." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. The Terran plague had been a tragedy that moved even the most stoic species to compassion. Humanity had been reduced to a handful of survivors clinging to life on a few scattered worlds. "That was 50 years ago," added Councillor Yila, her melodic voice carrying harmonics of desperation. "Your people have rebuilt magnificently. Your fleets are spoken of in whispers throughout known space. We need that strength now." Kale nodded slowly. "Indeed, we have rebuilt. But perhaps you have forgotten exactly how we achieved such rapid recovery." The chamber fell silent. Several council members exchanged uncertain glances. "Allow me to refresh your memories," Kale said, activating a holographic display. "After the plague, when our population stabilized, we discovered something interesting. The bioweapon that nearly destroyed us, it wasn't natural. It was engineered." Gasps echoed through the chamber. Councillor Vrex's crystalline structure flickered with rapid color changes, a sign of extreme agitation. "Impossible," Vrex whispered. "The plague emerged from the outer colonies. It was a natural mutation." "Created in a laboratory on Hegemony Station 7, Kale interrupted. "We found the research data buried in your archives. Biological warfare testing designed to target human genetic markers specifically." The chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives shouted denials, accusations, and demands for proof. Kale waited, patiently for the tumult to subside. The question became, he continued once order was restored, what to do with this knowledge? We could have revealed it immediately, but we were weak, barely surviving. Instead, we chose patience. We rebuilt, we grew strong, and we waited. Admiral Reed stepped forward from the human delegation, her uniform bearing decorations from a dozen conflicts. The Terran Defense Fleet currently consists of 8,000 ships of the line, 400 battle stations, and weapon systems that would make your ancestors weep with terror. We didn't just rebuild our military, we revolutionized. Show us every shipyard, every weapons facility, every training academy was designed with one purpose, and Kale added, to ensure that what happened to us could never happen again. To anyone. Councillor Yila's harmonic voice wavered with confusion. Then you will help us against the Scourge? Kale smiled, and the expression was utterly without warmth. Oh, we will. Help. The debt will be paid in full. But understand this, we are not the grateful refugees you once saved. We are the force that crawled back from the brink of extinction with singular purpose. On the chamber's main display, tactical readouts began appearing. Star charts showed massive fleet movements, defensive positions being established, and weapon platforms being deployed along the Scourge's projected path. The Terran First Fleet has already engaged the Scourge Vanguard at the Kepler Junction, Admiral Reed reported. Enemy casualties are estimated at 60% of their forward elements. Our losses were minimal. Shocked silence greeted this announcement. The Kepler junction was light years beyond the outermost coalition worlds. Humanity had met the enemy far from civilized space. The second and third fleets are currently establishing kill zones along the spiral arm. The fourth fleet is hunting down Scourge scout elements. By our calculations, the threat will be neutralized within 6 months. Counselor Vrex's form had shifted to deep purple, indicating profound shock. You've already mobilized? Without council authorization? We don't require authorization to defend ourselves or our allies, Kale replied. The Scourge represents an existential threat to all organic life. They must be stopped. But the cost, Yila began, has already been calculated and accepted. Admiral Reed interrupted. Every simulation, every tactical analysis led to the same conclusion. The Scourge cannot be reasoned with, cannot be deterred, cannot be contained. They can only be destroyed utterly. Kale stepped closer to the central podium. You saved us when we were dying. You gave us the chance to become what we are today. The debt is real and it will be honored, but understand what you have unleashed. The display showed footage from the Kepler engagement. Human ships moved with deadly precision, their weapons reducing Scourge vessels to expanding clouds of debris. It was not a battle. It was systematic extermination. We are no longer the desperate refugees begging for salvation, Kale concluded. We are the nightmare that crawls out of the void to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The debt is due, and we are paying it with fire and fury that will burn through the darkness until nothing remains but silence. The chamber remained silent as the human delegation filed out, leaving behind representatives who finally understood that they had not just saved a species 50 years ago, they had forged a weapon of unimaginable power. Outside, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as humanity prepared to collect on a debt written in blood and sealed with vengeance.